All right, let's talk race recap. My first 50K ultra trail race is done and in the books, and I just kind of wanted to go over like the race day, kind of what I used and what I experienced and things like that. So let's kind of get into it. So start off with my feet. So basically, I used all right, so I use Body Glide on my feet, my ankle areas, Achilles, sides of feet, and definitely lubed up all the toes. So I make sure I got in between all the toes really well, on tops and bottom of my toes. And then on my feet for socks, I use Stance. I believe these are just the OG socks. Really like them. They're nice and soft. Give a little bit of extra thickness into the feet for cushion, but also kind of nice. They wrap my feet nice with the arch and everywhere that I like. So those were great socks. For shoes, Saucony Exodus Ultra 2s. These were phenomenal throughout the terrain. So the terrain was pretty mixed. It was wooded terrain, double track, hills, loose rocks. So they have a rock plate in the bottom of them, so I did not feel any of the rocks. So I didn't really have to pay too close attention to where my feet placement was. So these were absolutely awesome. And then through prairie, rolling prairie, and then even there was um, loops or sections that were on road. So on Hardpack Road, and these were great for that with the dual density foam cushioning. Um, so these were outstanding for the whole race. And my feet were happy. No issues with hot spots, blisters, no real feet fatigue. My feet were super, they felt great the entire race. So that was really great. I had my hydration vest, so my running pack, just off Amazon, nothing crazy. And then two 500 millimeter soft flasks. So I had one was water, and then I had one with Tailwind, and then also just plenty of storage for gels and other food that I wanted to carry along with me. So the gels I had were SIS gels. I had some caffeine as well as regular gels. I also carried the Honey Stinger Energy Chews. These things are great. I like those. And then I also had one of these PB&J sandwiches. So these things are good. Good calories. So what is it? 230 calories and 39 grams of carbs per sandwich. So those things are awesome. And then I also mentioned Tailwind. So I had Tailwind as well in my hydration bottles. And then in my drop bag for halfway through the course, I also had another soft flask of just some Element for some extra hydration. Clothes, clothes are nothing special, nothing crazy. I just had some ASIC shorts. I believe these are 5 or 7 inch. They have some side pockets. So in the side pockets, I had some ginger chews and then some chapstick. Yeah, just a basic sleeveless hind running shirt, and then I also had some arm sleeves that I wore. So that's kind of basically what I had. Oh, and then just a headband for sweat and things like that, because I hate when that runs down in my face. So that was basically it. Nothing crazy for clothes and gear. So that's kind of what I had. I kind of went a little over my fueling with the SIS gels, the Honey Stinger Energy Chews, the PB&J sandwich, the Tailwind, and Element halfway mark. Um, yeah, that's kind of what I had during the races and also in my drop bag. I'll kind of go over that a little bit more too as I go through what I did with the race prep. So my race started at 7 a.m. So I was up at around 4:50 to kind of get myself going, get hydration, getting food, just get my body awake and moving. So I started off with drinking Element right away in the morning to start building my electrolytes. And then I just followed that up by just drinking just plain water after that. My food of choice in the mornings for runs is a rice cake, a caramel rice cake with peanut butter and raw honey. I love it. Tastes good, goes down good, easy on my stomach, but I also feel it just kind of makes me feel good getting going. I also had some mushroom coffee to kind of get a little bit of extra energy and a little bit of coffee in me without drinking a bunch of just coffee to kind of, it just in case it made my stomach upset. So then I drove down to the race. The race was about 30 minutes away. Um, so I wanted to arrive down there, give myself plenty of time so I wasn't rushing in any way. So I picked up my bib and just kind of walked around a little bit, did my drop off bag. So my race was 2 loops. So at the start finish area, there was space for a drop off bag. So I make sure I got mine to there right away. And then just kind of got my warm ups in, getting myself loosened up, just kind of getting in the right frame of mind and getting myself just prepared. So after warm ups, got my vest on, make sure I had everything that I wanted in it, and then headed over to the start. At 7 o'clock, it was still dark, so I had headlamps on, and yeah, and then it was just kind of actually like they were doing the pre-race speech, and I was kind of just making an adjustment on my shoe, and basically he was like, "Let's go," and it was 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the horn sounded, but I was still tying my shoe, so it was popped up quick and kind of got going. So I kind of worked my way through a little bit of people and kind of established myself towards the lead pack because I just kind of wanted to see what was going to go on with the race, see what some of the front runners were going to do. Um, Seeing this was my first 50K, I didn't really know like how people would go out and what pace. So we kind of settled into a pretty easy pace, I thought. Just kind of, kind of getting the feel of it in the dark and just kind of making our way through the woods. The first like 4.5 miles was probably the hilliest part of the course. So we were just kind of making our way through those mileage pretty easily, not pushing hard at all. And everybody was just kind of staying pretty relaxed, and we were all kind of chatting a little bit up front. So it was kind of really nice just to kind of get ease into the race that way. Around 4.5, 5 miles, the sun came up, and then you could turn your headlamps off. And then that's where some people were kind of moving around a bit prior to that. A couple of people moved back a little bit, a couple of people moved up, but I just kind of stayed where I was running with the group of guys. And then, so about 4.5, 5 miles, one of the guys kind of started to push away. And then one of the guys I was running with, kind of tell he wanted to push forward. He kind of opened up a little bit gap from me. And we kind of just kind of settled into our positions from there. And just kind of, yeah, it was just kind of moving through the trails, and it just felt really good. Nothing major, just kind of moving through everything. And then let's see and then on the like last little section before the halfway mark, moved down to single track, which I love running on single track, but fall was all the leaves all over the trail, so you really kind of had to watch your footing because of sections of the trails being covered with leaves, so with rocks and roots and that kind of thing. And of course I needed to find a hole, so my right foot landed in a hole and I really twisted my ankle pretty bad. So I was kind of hobbling along a bit, just kind of had to slow down to see if I can kind of regain myself and just kind of work through it a little bit. So I was able to kind of work through it, and yeah, and then it was just something that happened. It was pretty sore, but just kind of like pushed through and kind of put it out of my mind. And then me and one of the other guys, so running second and third at this point, We were kind of like running together for a bit, all the way to the drop bag. So it came halfway point, like second, third place, and then grabbing stuff out of drop bag, refilling gels, getting more tailwind, drinking Element, and just kind of refilling water bottles, and just kind of all the things you would do from your drop bag. The guy I was running with had a little bit of help because he had some friends there, so he was able to kind of get things through a little bit quicker. But me seeing that, I started to rush, and I think that was a kind of a big mistake. Just me rushing through, doing things because I really like chugged down my Element, which I kind of felt like that was kind of a little bit of problem because it kind of created like, I don't know, just kind of like a little airlock or whatever, instead of just drinking it normally. And then I also planned to like grab some bananas and things like that, and I kind of didn't. And I felt like I just really rushed because I was wanting to try to get out with him again and kind of just stay running together, just so I can kind of stay up or like around that second, third position. Um, so I really felt like I rushed through my drop bag area instead of just taking the time that I initially planned on doing to make sure I got everything I wanted to. I get some more hydration. I got some food in me. Um, but I ended up heading out a bit after him. And yeah, it was just kind of like that first section again. It was all the hilly section. And then like 5.5 miles in or so was another aid station, and that's where my family came out and met me. So it was pretty awesome. Two of my three boys were there, and then my wife was there. So it was super great to see them out there. And then I grabbed a little bit of things from the table there, and then just kind of like cruised on. And then in the far back section, I started to get into some leg issues. I don't think I was staying up on my sodium intake the way I should have been. And I found, I mean, I'm a kind of a salty sweater. So really, I think my sodium levels got where I was not staying up on top of them with my hydration. And I really started to feel it in my legs. My legs started to spasm, and started to cramp up. So there was an aid station on the backside that I kind of stopped at. Took a little bit of time, got some pickle juice, ate some bananas, and just kind of got some more water. Took a little bit of time there, and then hit the road section. And the road section kind of felt good because I was able to stretch out my legs a little bit more, um, and then hit back down into the prairies, and then looped past the same aid station that my family was at again. And at that point, I was really struggling. My legs were just locking up, cramping up, and I ended up losing my third place position at that point. Um, so I had to stop again, and then they got me some salt tablets at the aid station. I got some more pickle juice, things like that to try to just help alleviate some of the cramping and build up some sodium back in within my body to get me to the end. So after leaving that aid station, I was in fourth place then. And then it was pushing through the last sections of single track and then the last sections of hilly areas, just getting up to the finish line. And getting to the finish line was pretty awesome. It was a bit of a struggle just of how I was feeling because I think I really neglected my hydration and fueling and getting more calories in that second half of the race than I should have. And it was just maybe me just like obviously not being experienced in racing that far of a distance, and then obviously just kind of feeling a little bit of rush to try to maintain and keep my spot, when I should have just really focused in about my hydration and fueling. I kind of knew better, but obviously my body needs more during the races than it did just during training. Um, so just getting to the finish line felt absolutely amazing. My family was there, kids were there. Spectators were there, and it was just super cool feeling getting there. Um, and then it was a lot of emotions for me because you work so hard, all of the months and months of training, the hundreds and hundreds of miles that you run. Most of my running is just super early in the morning by myself to make sure I get home to spend time with my family and we can go about our lives of work, family time together. So all my training is super early and it's by myself. Um, Before the sunrise. So I think it was just like all the hard work and then through the race, and then just having my family there at the end was super cool. So I became pretty emotional with all of that stuff kind of coming forward. And yeah, it's just kind of celebrated with them. Went and saw the other runners that were ahead of me, congratulated them on their races. And then, yeah, I mean, it was excellent. I didn't bring it over here, but got a wood medallion for the 50K marker. And yeah, I was super proud. So fourth place finish for my first 50K. So I thought that was pretty awesome. The course, it was hilly. It was really beautiful. Sunrise that day through the prairie, the golden prairie grass, woods. I had a nice mix, and it was 6,700 feet of elevation gain and loss throughout the 50K. So it kind of pushed you a little bit, and like I really wanted to try to compete during the race, and I think I did compete pretty well. I trained hard, and I really just wanted to show up and be able to compete the best I could and to really push. And I did push, and I had nothing left at the end. So it's an overall great feeling and accomplishment for myself. Definitely, like next time going forward, I do want to increase my training a bit, do more strength training so I am stronger with the hills. I'll maybe increase my mileage a bit more so I have a little bit stronger endurance. And then just when it comes down to race, just don't neglect the fueling, especially the hydration and electrolytes and getting sodium into my body so I can just really prevent some of the issues that I had in my first 50K. And then I could just be stronger, hopefully. Stronger and a little bit faster, maybe. But it just takes the work to get there to do it. So that was kind of my experience in my first 50K. I mean, you can go back and watch the race video. I know it's nothing great of a race video. I think I had all these aspirations to make this really outstanding race video. But I guess like once you kind of get into the race, I wasn't so focused on what I was, making videos of. I was just kind of really concentrating on the race and what's going on and just trying to enjoy the experience and everything that it was. And it was pretty awesome. So I do look forward to my next one. Winter setting in Minnesota, so winter running always gets a little difficult, but and race season's over, so that's kind of always a bummer. But I was trying to get into another endurance race like 2 weeks after my 50K, but ended up having one of my son's birthday parties on that day, so was not doing that one. But maybe I'll get like a last 50 or 5K in or something, just something little that they have, little ones that they do around Thanksgiving or something. But then basically, and then I'll be like base training through the winter, and then looking forward to races starting in like April next year. So be getting into more 50Ks, I know for sure. Maybe even stretching it out more. We'll kind of see where things take me. So thanks for hanging. Thanks for watching through the training, the race, and just kind of taking the time with me. So I hope you guys just continue to work hard, enjoy your running, whatever adventures you're doing. And just remember, like, today is the day. Get after it and go do it. Go tackle those goals.